Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, episode 10.
It's time to reverse the imbalances in your life as you take the first step on your own journey towards personal change. Welcome to Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, educating, empowering, and inspiring individuals to live healthier. Now here are your hosts and your guides to natural living, Jamal and Kim.
Hi, Kim and Jamal here, and welcome to another episode of Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe podcast. This episode, we will be recapping episode 9, which featured Richard Campbell. Richard was a vegan bodybuilder, and in that episode, he debunked so many myths that people have about being physically fit, gaining muscle, eating a plant-based diet. So I am Kim, and I'm joined with Jamal.
Greetings, everyone. Peace and blessings.
Yes. And, in these episodes, it's just Jamal and myself. And what we like to do is just discuss takeaways from the interview of the week and also add our opinions and expertise in the matter. And this episode was very, very popular when we released it. It got a lot of attention, a lot of downloads. A lot of people commenting and sharing the podcast. So I want to say thanks to everyone out there who, got value from the podcast. And, don't be afraid to leave a rating and review, and leave a comment on our blog if the episode provided you some value. So, Jamal, I know for you, this episode was, a good one, the one that you were looking forward to, being someone, we both eat a plant-based diet and have been for over 10 years. But we are also into fitness. And, there's a lot of people that have jokes or have these ill-conceived perceptions of what, that you can't put on muscle eating, a plant-based diet. So I'm going to hand it off to you for you to, discuss any takeaways that you got from the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of takeaways from it. First, I just want to say that Rich was our first international guest that we had on the show.
Yes, he was.
From Canada. So, we have an international show now. And I'm sure there's a lot of people listening from Canada. Just want to say, thank you for listening. And,
definitely.
Everywhere else that you're listening. I know, Kim, you were saying that we had some people listening from like China, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can look at our stats of downloads, and Beijing was representing.
Yeah, so we got an international show now, so I'm happy about that. Happy that this message is spreading across the globe. That's our goal. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if we're motivating you here in New Jersey or motivating you in Europe or motivating you in Africa.
Right.
We're just trying to keep you consistent and motivated. And one of the things that Rich revealed was that the issues that we're having, the health challenges that we're having with just the mainstream perception of health and the direction that we're headed, Canada is headed in the same exact way. Mm-hmm. When we had Queen Afua on our show in episode 1, she expressed that a lot of the mainstream health across the world is dealing with a lot of the same issues. Mm-hmm. So this show is bigger, actually bigger than we thought it was, right. Because it the reach and the people that it can help is huge. And this is a really big show for me because I've always been an athlete, always was interested in building muscle. And there's a lot of, there were, because we debunked those myths, but there were a lot of misconceptions when it comes to building muscle on a plant-based diet. And hopefully that show brought some light to people that weren't aware that it is possible to grow muscle on a plant-based diet. And also, I'm sure that there are a lot of people that are vegans and on plant-based diets that have difficulty putting on the weight that they want to. And hopefully this was a level of inspiration to you to know that it's possible. And, just being a health practitioner and working in the field, we get people that come to us that eat meat that have difficulty gaining weight as well.
Right.
So I think that's important to touch on, because it's not a vegan thing, because we get people all the time that say, I can't put weight on, and they eat a lot of meat. They eat a lot of protein, and it's not effective for them. So it's all about finding what's effective, what works, breaking it down to a science and understanding your particular body chemistry and what you need to take your health to the next level. Because I remember when I first became vegan, I really didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I was pretty much just eating starch, like grains and veggies. Like that was it. And like I used to be extremely picky. I didn't like beans. I love beans now, by the way. I didn't like beans. I didn't like lentils. It wasn't a lot of the veggie meats and things like that out. So I wasn't eating any protein, and I was thin. Like I lost a lot of weight because I always carried a lot of muscle. I lost a lot of weight and I was thin. And I was like the typical, like what people would think the typical vegan looks, just kind of frail and sickly looking.
Well, actually, didn't one of your friends said people in the neighborhood think that you might be on some type of,
Well, I mean, to go into the story a bit, because I was trying to find my way as a vegan, and well, first let me just say that my dad, he pulled me aside and said, "What's going on? That this diet looks like it's killing me." Like he said that I look like I was sick. You know what I mean? Like that's what he said. And then a friend of mine pulled me aside, and he was just like, what Ma, what's going on, man? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean what's going on? He was like, yo, people in the hood think you got the package, and for those who don't know what the package is like AIDS, you know what I'm saying? So like people thought that I had AIDS because I was so thin and I had lost all of this weight,
right? Because
I just didn't know what I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with
But also, a lot of people, when you do transition, it's like a major detoxing phase. So, I went through too, and you release toxins, but a lot of toxins are stored in your fat.
Right. Yeah.
So
you detox.
So you detox. Because I can
major
remember,
detox.
Breaking out on my face, and my dad said, "These are I'm just reminiscing." He said, "If you eat meat, those bumps will go away." I mean, at the time it's not funny, but when you reflect on it, you gotta laugh.
Yeah, you got to. But we go through it. We go through it, and it's been like 15 years.
Right.
And we learned a lot. We've studied. We've taken a lot of classes and got different types of certifications and things of that nature. And we've seen a couple thousand people literally, and you learn, and we learned how to do this the right way, and it's possible. And one of the things that Rich said was that he put on muscle. He put on more muscle since he went plant-based, more muscle. So it's possible. You just got to do the right things. So it doesn't matter if it's plant-based or if it's meat-based. When you understand how the body works and you feed the body and give the body the things that it needs, your body will listen to you and it'll respond to the things that you're doing. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about having Rich on the show was that it wasn't about bodybuilding. Like bodybuilding was a sport that he participated in, but it wasn't just about bodybuilding. Like I used to work in gyms, quite a few gyms for a while. Worked in gyms as a nutritionist, and also as a fitness specialist. And I've been around bodybuilders, and I've been around a lot of bodybuilders that it's not about their health. It's just about their look. It's about getting their bodies a certain way, and they didn't eat healthy. I've been around bodybuilders that did try to eat healthy and were very regimented. But the thing with Rich was it was all about his health. Mm-hmm. Like he has this term livid, which is, you know, a Jamaican Rastafarian term about, you know, just living a healthier lifestyle, you know, bringing life to your body. So it's all about the health, and it's all about healing. And it's about building muscle naturally. He doesn't take any drugs. He doesn't do a lot of performance enhancing things that are out there. It's just whole foods that he's consuming. And I really appreciated that about Rich, him shining the health light on the whole situation.
Yeah, definitely. I don't really, you know, I mean, I've heard about Rich from him coming on our show and just doing my due diligence and research and just learning more about him. But the one thing that Rich shared was that, you know, weightlifting is an extreme sport, that it requires a lot of, you know, strain on the body. And when I look at thinking about a strain on the body, the first thing that comes to mind is digestion.
Yeah.
And we know that digestion takes an extraordinary amount of energy from our bodies to break down the foods that we're eating, to break them down so we can assimilate the nutrients. So when I look at, becoming physically fit or, in terms of your health, if you eat foods that your body needs that help to repair and rebuild instead of tear down, and you couple that with fitness, for Rich, I can see why he was able to, change his body so quickly because he's eating foods that are, vibrant,
right.
That's giving his body vitality. It's feeding him.
He's being fed.
And, then couple that with a very disciplined routine, those two married together, I can see why he's so successful.
Right.
And another thing that stands out was his daily, when you asked him what's a typical eating day, and, he just shared, like, it's just these small meals, like a shake. Most people don't think a shake is a meal, or grabbing some fruit and some berries. And it was just basic, simplified meals that anyone could really do, but it just takes some discipline and consistency, which we always repeat time and time again because we can't say it enough, that consistency.
Right. And if you just pay attention to how much he ate a lot. Like if you're gonna feed your muscles, I mean, you gotta pack on, you gotta eat a lot. You gotta feed the muscles with the things that it needs in order for them to grow. And even when you're trying to lose weight, you still have to regulate certain things that you're getting in to make sure that your muscles are fed. So powerful example of the discipline that you have to have and the work that you have to put in, because people don't really understand that. For example, if let's say you require 1,500 calories a day. A lot of times we'll switch over to a vegetarian, a vegan diet, and the foods aren't as calorie dense as a lot of the processed foods. So when you're eating more whole foods, it's less calories, which also explains why people have such a drop in weight, because they're eating a lot, but they're getting a lot less calories. If you're trying to build muscle and build your body up, it's important to make sure that that you're still getting in your caloric requirements. Like right. That is very important. I remember this had to be, I don't know, I want to say about maybe 7 years ago. We went to a vegan food potluck. Do you remember that? It was at it was at.
I just already know, but it's what you're gonna say.
Where was that?
It was in New Brunswick.
Yeah, what was it? What was the name of it?
It was Drew's spot.
Yeah, what was the name of his spot? George Street Co-op. It was on top of
Namaste.
There. Yeah, Namaste. So it was like a bunch of these little guys in there, like these little frail guys, And, you know, they kind of fell into, like, I was past that already, but they fell into the same trap that we fell into. Mm-hmm. And I remember that one guy, I don't know if you remember him or not, but he was asking me, like, hey, I noticed that you have some muscle on you, you know, like, what do you do to put on the muscle? And I'm like, all right, well, I'm asking him, what do you eat in a typical day? Like, what did you eat today? Mind you, we're there at dinner. Like, everyone brought dishes for dinner. There was a potluck. So I'm like, well, what did you eat today? He was like, well, I had a couple of oranges. I blended them up and I added some spinach, and I drank it down, and I had some water, and I fed my body, and that's all I had for today. You know what I mean? What? and that was it.
We would have been on the floor,
right? Yeah, that's all he had. You're not gonna build all of this muscle on just that. You got to feed your body. Look what Rich was saying. He had, some of his dishes was just straight beans. Like, he just had a bowl of beans as his meal. We know beans is high in protein, it's high in carbs, it's high in fiber,
right?
And it's high in calories, it's high in fat. It's like a complete meal. And, so Rich goes hard. So if you're serious about putting on muscle on a plant-based diet, you got to eat, you got to feed your body. You have to be disciplined.
Right.
And you have to be consistent. Like, that's the whole thing, staying consistent. Since over the past 2 years, Rich continues to pack on muscle because he's consistent. Mm-hmm. I've put on muscle over the past, since I've been back hitting the gym hard for the past 9 months. I've put on muscle, being consistent for the past 9 months. So that's really the key. We definitely need to adjust your diet and how you're eating. But the key is being consistent.
Right. And also understanding that it's a science.
Right.
It's a science. And I think that's refreshing to know, because a lot of people, they struggle in the beginning. And that's okay, because even Rich said he struggled. Mm-hmm. But you just keep moving forward. You keep tweaking. You keep learning. You see what other people are doing. Does this work for me? Does it not? Because there's no cookie cutter approach. But just understand that it's a science. And once you master that science, you just keep applying the same principles day in, day out,
right,
until you get to your results.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So hopefully for people that weren't aware that it was possible to build muscle on a plant-based diet, hopefully now you know that it is possible. And for people that were, maybe on the fence of eating more plant-based foods, but they just weren't sure if they could successfully pull it off or not, now you know. And for people that were already on a plant-based diet and just had difficulty gaining, now maybe after listening to Rich's show, you can go back, listen to it for a few, and just get some extra jewels on the things that you need to do. And the last thing that I want to say is this. I was just looking at, I don't know if you saw it, Kim, I was just looking at online Arnold Schwarzenegger, who probably is the greatest bodybuilder of all times. He wasn't natural and he wasn't plant-based, but he made a statement today because he was interviewed on a vegan fitness channel. Mm-hmm. And he basically said that you didn't need meat to build muscle. He said that you could definitely build muscle and be a bodybuilder on a plant-based diet. You just had to feed the body the things that it needed, just as you would on any type of diet, and it was very possible. Mm-hmm. And he felt that it was better for the environment and better for people's health overall if they moved toward a plant-based diet. And he actually said that he was moving toward a plant-based diet, which is very interesting. We're talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger here. That was major.
Yeah.
That was major to hear him say that. So, you could definitely Google that, probably find a clip on YouTube, check it out. But that was major. So if you have Arnold Schwarzenegger saying it, and it's nobody out there that could, say anything about, this man's ability to put on muscle and to be a champion. Like, nobody could say anything about that. If he's talking about this, it's possible, and it's something that you can do and that you could achieve. So I just want to leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's about it. We hope that you got some value from this talk we had. It was a very good interview with Rich. So we just wanted to thank Rich once again for coming on to the show.
Indeed.
And before we go, just make sure if you're not on our mailing list, go over to jkhealthtribe.com. Join our mailing list where you can receive our newsletter that we send out each and every Friday. And you also can download a free copy of our report, 8 Effective Ways to Lose Weight and to Keep It Off. Okay, so until next time, live healthier.
Yeah, stay healthy, stay focused, stay committed. Peace and blessings.
We hope you enjoyed your time with Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe. To keep you on your path towards a happy, healthier lifestyle, we encourage you to visit jkhealthtribe.com for a free copy of the 8 Effective Ways to Lose Weight and Keep It Off, as well as more content to help you find your health balance. Thanks again, and we look forward to educating, empowering, and inspiring you to live healthier.